If you want to see how I went from this to this, then please stick around to the end of the video and I'll show you exactly how I built this polytunnel, everything you need from start to finish, how you can build it all by yourself. So all looks a little messy right now, but the new polytunnel is going to go here. So it's 6 meters long, 3 meters in width, and it's going to sit right next to this greenhouse. So I'm just going to get clearing the area ready for it to go in. Okay, that is generally the area cleared. Now there's loads of carpet down here, so next job is to lift all of that up and get the space actually marked out ready for the polytunnel. Rightio, area now cleared. I need to sort these bricks out so it's all level. That's actually like a raised bed there. So I need to level it all really. If I come down to surface level, you can see it's not that level at the minute. So I'll level all that and it's going to go all the way back to just before all that, where that kind of pipe is. And right from side to side, leaving a gap between the polytunnel and the greenhouse. Rightio, the area is now cleared. I put some breeze blocks that I had spare here just to build that up because this side was all much higher. Now that is going to be eventually layered. Obviously, as the polytunnel gets put into shape, I'll know exactly where to level, but that's not a bad job. Got all the weeds out, leveled it as much as I possibly can. And as I say, the polytunnel now will go along here and right down to the back over there. And that'll be 6 meters long by 3 meters in width. Now time to unpack it and see what we've got. Okay, so this is what I ordered. This is the 6 meter by 3 meter polytunnel from Crocodile Trading, or crocodile.co.uk. These are the two boxes that got delivered. I don't know what's in which. Maybe one's the cover, one's the main frame, maybe it's a combination of both. So let's get these open and see what's inside. Okay, as I thought, we've got, looks like the main fabric, which is white. I thought I ordered green, but white is nice. And we've got more, so most of the frame in there. First impressions, it's all labelled up nicely so I can see each of the pieces. There's a pack of 2s, always handy. And we've got 5s, 4s, 6s, which is good. The all important instructions, don't want to lose them. Okay, first impressions of what we've got. So it was packaged very nicely. Looks like we've got all the big overhead pieces. They're almost the roof. This will be all our main structure and the base. And then of course there is the fabric covering and our instructions. And we've got a big bag of screws, bolts, fastenings, attachments, all kinds. Again, don't want to lose any of that. So let's get started and let's build the main frame. Whenever I'm building anything like this, I do like to prepare well so I know where everything is. So I've laid them all out and they are all numbered correctly or clearly. So we've got our 2s, our 3s, our 4s, our 5s. Here we go, some of them are labelled separately. So 6s, 7s, And then if we suddenly go into letters, a combination of letters there which are all labelled correctly as well. Every single piece is labelled, so there's a C. And at the back we have number ones, which not all of these are labelled, but they are all together with elastic bands, so I presume they're all ones. Apart from these ones, there's two which are labelled up as 1A. So nice and clear from the start, and hopefully then the instructions will guide me exactly what piece goes where. So just had a quick scan of the instructions. Believe it or not, there's only 6 steps to this, and they do look pretty detailed enough, showing you exactly how the pieces to go together. So we've got like 6 into 7 into another 6, and then we've got our 5s and the upright pieces. It tells you all about the screws and the bolts and the all the rest of the fittings. Gives everything's got its own number and name. So I think it's going to be fairly straightforward. Famous last words maybe, but let's see how we go. Okay, so the bag of screws, bolts and bits are not labelled individually or not in separate bags, so I'm going to have to lay them out and try and match them to what's on here. Find all our ones. It does tell you how many of each, so if I lay them all out on here, I should at least then know what I'm getting. A bit fiddly. I would have preferred them in separate bags, but hey ho, won't take me long. Okay, so maybe I was a little bit harsh on that. There's only actually, it says I've got 49 plus 2 of those. I've got 49 plus 3. Don't know what the plus 3 is about. Maybe spares. I've got all the nuts. I've got some smaller ones. There's 12 of those, and then randomly this one has a slightly different end on it, or maybe that's just a damaged one. I don't know. It makes no mention of this funny one, but the others don't have that, so I'm going to keep that one to one side just in case it is a funny connecting one, or maybe it's just broken. And then we've got all the caps that I presume go on the bottom to stop any soil going in, to just close up the actual bars. So that's not too bad at all. That's quite easy. It's going to be mostly these going together. You do get a little flimsy spanner and an Allen key. We'll see how we go, but I brought my wrench set as well, just in case, or socket set should I say, just in case I need to tighten things up a bit easier. Okay, so first slightly confusing bit from the image here, and it gives a blown up version. This is a bit tricky. I'm not quite sure how that's going to go, so I'm guessing, there's a bit of a guess, that piece is our number 3, the vertical one. This one is our number 5, as we've got here, and the one across here must be our number 6, which has got the little lip on it there. So I'm going to presume we go there, and then this is going to go on the outside, I think. Let's put that together and see how it goes. That kind of resembles where it should be. Okay, so we've got this, which is one of our P1s. We're going to go through the outside. Doesn't matter which way round we've gone. We're going to go through this piece, which then goes into this one, and then pop the nut on the other side. Well, I'll tighten that up in a second, but hopefully you can see that that's gone in. This is going to be then the upright, and I presume we're going to do that all the way along. So I'll put those in now. Okay, so the bottom base is now in. You'll notice this is just sat on top of the soil for now. I will be anchoring it all in at the end. For now I just want to see spacing and size and exactly where I want it. I want to leave enough gap between the new polytunnel and the greenhouse, so a good foot, maybe 18 inches. But this is now starting to take shape. Each of these is There's almost the base posts, which will then sit on top of it. So that's taken about 40 minutes. The most fiddly bits are the corner ones, just where the three pieces go together, but hopefully you can see that. So this one comes underneath, attaches on, screw right through the very back on each of the corners, and then ready for the piece to go on top, which I'll get cracking with now. Okay, so really starting to take shape now, despite the instructions basically saying just to put on the first layer of the cross beams. I did find that it was collapsing on itself, so I've just temporarily just put on the top ones just to give it a bit more stability at the moment. As you can see, that's just holding it up in place. I've just done the front one, the middle one, and the back one. Just take you around from the other side because that's shooting into the sun. Hopefully you can now just see how it is starting to take shape. It is pretty sturdy, that's what I've found so far. It just takes time tightening up all the different screws and bolts, but generally it is pretty easy to put together. Just takes a while. Okay, so stage or step 4 complete apart from the door. But I just want to show you how it's gone together. So the bottom railing, we've got these cross pieces. They were pretty easy to put together once I worked out how. So this main piece on the inside, followed by the cross rail with all the main frame on the outside. And throughout the instructions it does tell you to make sure the main frame is on the outside, and I suppose with the cover you want that to be as smooth as possible, and that's why. So we've got the bottom piece in, the second one up, and now the top one on the sides, and right up along the top you've got another piece. Again, all quite simple. Screw goes straight down the top, in, and then screwed the other side. It is a little bit fiddly to line everything up, and I suppose if my ground was absolutely straight then maybe it would have gone together a little bit easier, but it says on the instructions 2 to 3 people. I've done this myself, been going at it now about 2.5 hours, and we're at this stage. So now it's time to have a little go and put the door on. I think that might be a little trickier, maybe. So the frame itself was a little bit tricky, just lining it all up, but as you can see, this piece just goes on the outside, goes in there. I think that screw's too big, so I might swap it for a smaller one. This is going to be the hinge the door sits on. There's one, there's the other one, and then again it just connected on the outside like so, but that's with a smaller screw. So not too bad, both sides are the same. Now I've just built the door. There's the door. When it was laying on the floor it looked a lot smaller than it actually is, but again this now has the hinges on, which I'm hoping will just slot straight in, and then I can fill out, or at least put all the final screws in. Okay, so once you put your door together, it then goes inside its own mesh, its own covering. So you just got to make sure you got it the right way around, but this slots in like a sleeve, I believe. And it's got Velcro on the bottom. So hopefully that just slides in. Bit of a tight fit. We'll make sure we don't rip it. Stand it up. Right. Might go in a bit easier. Okay, and then the Velcro at the bottom just folds round. Keep that door in. Needs a bit of a wash down. And if I've done this correctly, it should now drop straight onto the hinges. Okay, if I take you on the inside, just see how it's gone. So there's actually a gap in here already made for the hinge. So the hinge comes out through. That's then just slotted on top. As you can see, that's just slotted right in on top of there. And down here, stopping it going right the way down. But you get the idea, that's slotted on that one and that one. This is the almost the lock, the handle. So if I move that right closed, that will then keep that door shut. And then when the master, the rest of the covering on, I'm guessing this piece of Velcro will clip onto the actual, this part of the door frame, or part of the front, should I say. So that just latches on and almost acts as another hinge. Now it's time to put down some weed control membrane. I'm just literally going to do it around the frame to begin with, because once this is attached down, it's going to be really quite difficult to get under again. So I'm going to roll this out. I've got 30 meters by 1 meters, so at least I should be able to do underneath all of the frame, or as much as I possibly can. Okay, let's have a go. Okay, so you just need some scissors, and I've bought some multi-purpose pegs to hold it down. Wow, £3 from B&M. Hopefully that'll be just what I need. So this membrane is going to go underneath the frame, and because I haven't attached everything on yet, it's not too heavy, so I can just lift it for now. And because I don't want any weeds growing between the greenhouse and the frame, I'm going to go right up to the greenhouse. That's the reason I want it overlapping as much as I can. So let's try one of these in. Okay, just going to put a few more clips in. That'll hold that all in place, at least temporary, until I can really secure it down at the very end. Okay, I think you get the idea. That is going to go underneath all the frame. So I'll put all that in now, and then the stakes that I'm about to put in can just go through the membrane. At least the membrane will be in place first. And then once it's all up, I can decide what to do in the middle. Might get paved, might be more membrane, it might just be open beds. We shall see. So I'm quite happy with that. That's at least the membrane down all along the sides and the back. And as I say, once the whole covers on, I can always fill the middle out. But for now, I just want to get it all done. I'm quite happy with the positioning. That gives me enough space to get down the side, just in case I need to. And those who are eager-eyed but I've spotted that my grapevine is actually planted outside the greenhouse and goes in there, so might have to get to it from time to time, which is why I do want to leave that space. So now it's time to anchor in to the floor. Okay, so created these like T-bars. Literally got one piece of wood, made it to a bit of an angle so it's a bit of a spike. Got another piece of wood. What's that, about 8 inches? And then I've attached it to this one. And the idea being, ignore the muck on it, I'm gonna hammer them in next to the frame on the inside, and the T-bar across the top will then act as a bit of a wedge to hold it in place. So I just need to make a little cut here. I'm going to put all them in. I'm going to keep creating a few more, and then eventually I'll be able to connect all those together. So let's see how that goes. So first one I want going about here, so that will hold down that part of the frame. So let's make a quick cut in the fabric. That allows in fact, let's go both ways. Go, and then that's going to go in like so. It's time for the sledgehammer. Oh, hitting that in. That's now secured in. The frame can't lift because it's now held down by the stake in the ground with the piece across it. And once I've put them all in, I'm going to screw right through here to make sure they're all held in. And then I'm going to have a big piece of wood going right across them all to hold all of those together as well. But for now, these are just acting as stakes or T-stakes. Okay, so most of my makeshift T-shaped stakes are now in. They're holding them down, and the idea being that once the cover's on, I can then attach a further piece of wood to the outside and basically screw that in. So big panels right across on the outside of the frame to then hold everything down securely. So these are in. I've got about 10 of them in altogether. As you can see, just wooden stakes, one cross piece holding the main frame down. But I've also bought these because there's certain places I couldn't get the stakes in for a start, but I do feel like we need some nice big heavy duty iron stakes for the place I couldn't get them in. So I'm just going to knock some of them in as well on all the places I couldn't get the stakes in. These were a pack of 8 on Amazon for about £11. I think that was the best value I could find. Again, with everything in this video, I'm going to put the links in the description below if you'd like to purchase them. Also, they will be my Amazon affiliate links, just to keep that open and honest. Okay, I popped all 8 of those in now. That just gives it the extra stability, and also is actually helping to double up to hold down my weed control fabric. So although I've got the stakes in the wood, these will just give it extra. The number one aim with any polytunnel is not just to secure on your fabric on the outside, your covering, but to make sure the frame doesn't blow away. And this now, it's not going anywhere. Cannot lift that out if I tried. Okay, it all comes down to this. This is what I've been waiting for. This is why I've spent so long putting this frame together, making sure it's secure, making sure it's level and even. This is now the time the polytunnel gets finished, time for the cover to go on. I have got no idea what best practice is for this, so I think I just need to lay it out, drape it over the top, move it around a bit, and I can already see we have some ties which I'll be able to tie onto the inside, and then I'll stake it down on the outside as much as I can. Luckily, there's no big winds due at the moment in the UK, so I can get this on at least and then spend the next few days just securing it. But for now, wish me luck. Time to put the cover on. Okay, I think I've worked out that it goes that way. I'm going to try and get that down the outside. The plan is just to throw it over the top. Okay, so before I put the cover on, I bought this anti-heat tape, which apparently is really good to stop the frame itself. So that's going to be in full sun in the middle of the summer from getting too hot. And then obviously when the cover is on, because it's a kind of plastic cover, we don't want the frame itself, the metal frame, to get too hot and then burn and melt the plastic. So this stuff apparently stops it getting too hot. Plus there are some screws that stick up, so as you can imagine, with the wind and the movement over time, that will gradually rub and rub and rub. So I'm going to pop some of that tape just over those as well to keep that nice and smooth. Anything you can find or use to help prepare and protect your polytunnel, your frame, your cover to last as long as possible, then you should do it now before you put it together. Preparation is key. There is another type of tape you can use. It's called anti-heat spot tape, but I believe this will do just as good, and it's half the price. That's 25 meters, again from Amazon, and it was $9.99. So I'm going to pop that right over the top of the frame now. Hopefully I'll be able to cover all the main hot spots that will form. Okay, tape all on now. I think you get the idea. That's gone mainly all across the top and the parts of the frame that are really going to be touching with the fabric, especially in the middle of the summer. So that blue tape now just acts as a bit more protection. And as I say, just where these nuts are on the other side of where they're connected together, it's now nice and smooth instead of anything being sharp, rigid and sticking up, that with time, with rubbing, would eventually rub through the plastic covering. So this now just protects it. Well worthwhile. Okay, so you won't have seen me struggle to get that on. The most tricky bit was working out which was the front, which was the back, and which is the inside and which is the out. But there's a few little telltale tricks or tips or hints even. So these are what you just tie around the inside frame. And then as I was putting it up, I just gradually started putting some of those on, tying them in, fastening them down, and then dragging over bit by bit. So it's not quite level and in position yet, but I've just tied these on just for the time being, just to hold it. And now I've got to go around it, securing it. But it was a little tricky, just working out which way around it goes. But now it's time to really tighten it up, put it all together, and hopefully we will be done. And here we have it. The polytunnel is complete. Let me take you inside. Okay, it's all been put up exactly where I wanted it. For the time being, it's just weighed down on the outside with bricks and rocks, just to keep it all secure. There will be another piece of wood going along the sides, right the way along, making a whole frame that then gets attached into the floor again. But for now, this will hold. There's lots of bricks and rocks holding all this fabric down. and then let's go inside. Here we go. This is what it's all about. This polytunnel has been built and designed for my strawberries, which will maybe this side, and then over here will be my blueberries. Here's the best blueberry here. And eventually I'll fill this up. If you do want to see my next video, it will be installing a solar water powered system, meaning that these plants will be watered by a solar powered pump, and I'll be installing that next week. So please hit that subscribe button if you want to stay connected to everything that I'm producing down at the plot. Just take you right down to the very bottom, just so you can just get a feel of the size. There we go. So it's 6 meters long by 3 meters wide, and it's about 2 meters in height. Very, very sturdy, which I've been very impressed with. It's barely moving when I try and shake that. Really connected well. This is nice and taut. And down the bottom we have the windows that you can open from the outside. It is a mesh, so the flies can't get in, but the air and the circulation can. Just come all the way back out again. And luckily, it's a nice day. Just to give you a scale, just to give you a little view to see the size and scale of the whole polytunnel. Absolutely fantastic. If you want one of these, I'll put a link in the description below. It is an Amazon affiliate link, meaning my channel will get a few little pennies if you purchase using that link, and also all the little bits and pieces that I've bought separately, like the heat tape, like the stakes and the pegs and everything else in between. I'll put all those links down in the description below. Right, thanks for watching everybody. Hope you found this video to be nice and informative. If you have, please hit that big thumbs up button. Please give us a little like, drop us a comment, hit the subscribe button, share it with your friends if this is something that you think someone else would enjoy, or maybe they're about to put up a polytunnel and need a little bit more help. So thanks for watching everyone. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye now.